Brian Wilson actually woke up this morning for the hit.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
You miss one little thing.
Oh, you're never going to live that down, my friend.
Never live it down. That's right.
Now, I'll tell you, though, what I like.
I believed in you, Brian.
Yeah, I heard.
You know what, Brian? Go back
I heard
and listen
about
to
your loyalty.
Yeah, listen to the 5 o'clock hour. Joan and Sam were like, "Oh, he's never going to wake up," and I said, "I've got faith in Brian." I like though.
I got to tell you, I did try something new last night. I just in mentioning, I heard this and I've read it a couple of places and I wanted to try it because as you get a little older, sometimes it's harder to sleep, and I know everybody goes through that. If you take a shower in the dark and then go straight to bed, it apparently helps you go right to sleep. And I tried it last night, and I got to tell you, I went right out. You basically go into your shower and turn off all the lights, and you take a warm shower, and then you towel off, and you get straight into bed, and you go right out.
Brian, I'm monitoring the super text line. People are actually asking, does that count with a bubble bath?
I don't know, but that's a good question, Dan. I've never taken a bubble bath.
I'm not sure why people are asking that question.
I know why they're asking that question, because when you were program director, we actually would occasionally have meetings, on the phone. We'd have a phone call and, a conference, and all of a sudden I would hear sloshing. And I say, Dan, are you in the bathtub again while we're having this conversation?
Listen, splish splash, I was taking a bath.
I guess
Seriously?
you were.
No, that never happened, Joan.
It did happen.
Shut up, Brian.
It happened on many occasions.
Why do I keep having to tell my coworkers to shut up? By the way, Brian, I liked in the official text on this morning's hit, you said the shutdown is shut down.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. So have you been?
Really? That's great minds.
That's exactly right. So what do you think? Did the Republicans look good with the shutdown?
No, I'm going to say this. I don't think there were any winners because I think by and large the American people are just fed up with this kind of nonsense, and understandably so. We send these people to Washington, get your business done. And to me, where Republicans failed is we've given up on this idea of doing these budgets through regular order. And I know it's an old-fashioned and quaint notion, but it used to work pretty well, and I think we need to get back to that. But I wouldn't say that Republicans won. I would say that the Democrats really lost, and the big loser here is Chuck Schumer. I'm not even sure he survives this, to be honest with you. He may not be the leader much longer. The problem is well, if Schumer's out of the way, who do you get? Well, you might get Dick Durbin.
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
Well, but
my least favorite member of Congress, Dick Durbin. Then you got Cory Booker is in line there, and I think Amy Klobuchar. I mean, none of those are great options.
Your names are correct. As a matter of fact, there is some polling done. My bet is on Cory Booker because they're looking for somebody young. He fits the minority profile and all that.
Cory Booker, in my estimation, is an empty suit.
He's a loudmouth.
He's all talk and he's all hat and no cattle, as we used to say in Texas. And I don't really think that he's much of a threat. I mean, honestly, though, Democrats have been hurt. I got this one little. I know how everybody feels about polls, but I thought this was interesting. Politico did a poll. And 21% of Democrats who voted for Kamala Harris in 2024 say they don't know who's leading the party. 10.5% of Democrats who voted for Kamala Harris say nobody is leading the party. So so about a third of all Democrats who voted for Kamala Harris either don't know or believe that no one is leading their party. They've got nobody on the bench. No one.
I think Republicans, this is an age-old conversation now, so we don't have to linger on this, Brian. But, when you talk about how the Republicans, we have one heck of a bench, which is why every time I hear...
I'm enthusiastic about the bench that we have. And if politics can change in a moment, but right now... it's shaping up pretty good. Again, I don't think that you claim a victory here after all that we've gone through in this long government shutdown. But I do believe that the real loser here is the Democrats and Chuck. And the Democrats, by the way, are furious with Schumer for folding. I mean, they are apoplectic about it. Why did you put us through all this if you were just going to, fold and get nothing out of it? They got nothing out of it.
One of the things that I find interesting about politics, and I'm trying to explain this to folks, where there's a lot of people that are making hay about this interview with Donald Trump and Laura Ingraham and some of the things that he said and some of the things that he said in the last couple of days about being more of a world leader than watching America. I actually understand what the president was saying when you listen to that whole comment in proper context. But there is some conservatives that are raising some alarm bells or some red flags, whatever, about President Trump and some of the things that he has said or some of the things that he has done, the 600,000 Chinese students, the 50-year mortgages. I mean, some of the things that a lot of conservatives are disagreeing with. But see, I think that that's all healthy debate. It doesn't mean that I don't support the president. It's not that he hasn't done great things. He has done incredible things.
Well, I look at Donald Trump in the same way that I sort of used to look at Newt Gingrich to some degree, just on some limited level. And that is, Newt Gingrich was a guy who had 100 ideas an hour.
Yeah.
And 10% of them were pretty good ideas. 90% of them, well, maybe it was just, he's thinking out loud. And Trump does that. And as someone who also does that in his own life, I can have some sympathy because I think out loud a lot and then I take stuff back. But the bottom line is, I think that, you really have to worry about, whether or not you can get, what you can actually get accomplished. Yeah. One of the things that he's talking about a lot right now, and I'm not sure he can pull it off, is he's talking about a $2,000 rebate that could come from the tariff money for all Americans who make less than $100,000. I don't think he's, number one, I'm not sure he can get that through Congress, and it would require action by Congress, I'm pretty sure. The second part of that is the Supreme Court is making a lot of noise in these recent arguments that they're not sure that he has the tariff authority. I hate that because I think tariffs are a wonderful thing, but he may not win that in a court of law. So I'm not sure that's going to happen.
I was talking to Hans von Spakovsky.
What does he think? Because I really like Hans, and I think he's a smart guy.
He's got some concerns based on the questions that were being asked from Amy Coney Barrett and John Roberts. And so there is a possibility, I don't know how strong it is, that the Supreme Court could not side with the Trump administration on this. And then if that happens, Brian, then what happens? Are we?
Well,
Donald Trump says we got to write checks back to the nations.
You got to give the money back.
And all those trade deals where the president has negotiated all of these trade deals with all of these different countries, are those all then null and void?
I think his strongest argument is that some of these trade deals are national security matters which fall into the purview of the president. And I think they are national security matters when you start talking about rare earth elements and magnets and all that kind of stuff that they've negotiated. I mean, there are things about it that are really, truly important. And at the end of the day, I don't know. But if the Supreme say you didn't have the authority to impose these tariffs and the tariffs have to go back, maybe what his idea is, we'll give it all to the American people and then tell the Supreme Court, oh, well, it's gone now. We can't do anything about it.
Yeah. And you know what? He could be doing that. There's a lot of discussion as to, among conservatives, do you want the $2,000 tariff, tariff rebate check, if you will, or do you want to pay down the debt? And I mean, I am one that I would like to see the debt paid down, but I totally get somebody who might say, you know what? I know darn right well the government, if they keep that money, they're not going to pay down the debt. They're just going to figure out another way to spend it, so give it to me.
Might as well give it to me. I could use it. Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly right. All right. So let's talk about the Mount Juliet police drones.
Wow.
I mean,
I saw this last night. Now, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
And I saw this last night on Channel 4. They did a piece on it. And one of the things that is happening in local police departments is some of them are putting drones on the roof of their police headquarter buildings. In this case, I think they're putting in 2 drones at Mount Juliet. And the idea is, okay, they say that their response time, and if this is true, it's really exceptionally good. A police response time is between 3 and 6 minutes. Well, that's a pretty good response time.
Yeah.
Nashville would love to have that, and they don't. But if you send a drone, you can respond in some cases 35, 45 seconds. You can have eyes over the scene just as if it were a police helicopter.
Yep.
And they're going to have, push a button and the drone is launched to the location and you immediately have eyes on a situation. They say they're going to do this every. And I think a lot of people are going to go, I don't know if I like drones being used in that way, but it's no different to me than a police helicopter, and we've had them for years. So, but it is interesting, and it is something that's going to change policing. And I think that you're going to see that in a lot of different places where the police can have eyes over a scene like it were a police helicopter in 35 to 40 seconds. Remarkable.
Well, listen, I mean, we always, as conservatives, we talk about in very negative terms the soft on crime policies of the Democrats.
Right.
Conversely, if you're a conservative, you want policies that are strong on crime. So whether you're talking about license plate readers or drones being able to either respond to crime scenes, find the getaway cars and all those kinds of things, it just makes sense to me to fight crime with the best technology we can get.
Yeah, they say they're not going to use it on everything, but they'll try to be very selective about where they use it. But I think this is watch this carefully, because what you see happening in Mount Juliet, I think is going to be the case in most every major metropolitan police department in the country.
Even with the Democrats? Because they can't even, here in Nashville, they can't even get on the same
I don't know
page
that Nashville
readers.
just had, they can't even get the license plate readers going, and that's been approved. And as it's a proven technology that takes criminals off the street, and they apparently don't want criminals off the street in Nashville.
AI, yeah, and then they come to Mount Juliet and they get caught. AI is got its first big hit, I guessed. I didn't know this was going on. So there's a song called Walk My Walk, and it's by something called Breaking Rust, which is an AI-like band?
Apparently, it's the singer in this. I don't know if all the musicians, but the singers on this doesn't exist.
All right, here, I've got a little piece of it.
Okay, here we go.
Been beat down, but I don't stay low.
So that's AI, Brian.
I know. That voice
crazy.
is not real. It's made up. And this is what scares me about AI. This is good. I mean, it sounds pretty good.
I never in a million years would have thought that this is AI.
Which brings me to my larger point. And the larger point is, it's going to be that way going forward. The AI is going to throw stuff across our transom. We're all going to see stuff in our social media and elsewhere, and we're going to go, is that real or is that AI?
Oh,
because the AI is getting scary good.
Have you noticed, Brian, there are stories, like on Facebook, people will share stories and you get drawn in, and it's like, is this real? No, it's not real. It's an AI written story.
I hate that so much. I mean, for people who are increasingly going, and I don't think this is where you should get your news and information, but increasingly people go to social media, to the Facebook and to Twitter and Instagram and all of that stuff, and that's where they get their news. Yep. And I'm increasingly finding that about 75% of what I'm reading on like the Facebook platform is just crap.
Hey, Brian.
It's just not real.
Hey, Brian, by the way, speaking of AI, a listener of mine named Ricky Gore has actually created a theme for Nashville's morning news.
Oh, really?
Yeah, utilizing AI. Listen to this.
Wake up, Nashville. The sun is shining bright. Dan Mandis leads the way after staying up all night. Joan brings us the news in her professional way. With Sam on the board, you know it's gonna go smooth all day.
Now, clearly the song doesn't take into account the fact that our equipment sucks, but we don't know if things are going to work out smooth all day because there's certain things, many things beyond our control, but...
Well, yeah, that goes without saying. That sounds pretty good, though. I mean, so that's not real either, right?
No, this is AI.
That's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
and so,
I like
how do you tell what's real and what's not? That's going to be the real challenge going forward.
You know, I think some of the songs that are real are going to be the ones that actually suck. And the ones that AI are going to be all the ones that are really sound good.
You can plug in a thing like, well, you know, we know, for example, that the ear likes a song that's about 120 beats a minute.
Yeah,
that's you know, about 2 beats a second. And so that will give, you know, that they can always program that kind of stuff in. We know, you know, what people like. We know what hooks have worked.
Yep.
You study the works of the Beatles. You study the works of the Rolling Stones. You study all of these different forms of music and the chord structure, and you teach it how to do it, and the music is going to be, you know, if you liked all that other stuff, you're going to like the stuff that comes out of AI, but it's not real. And the real question I have is, no harm, a song comes out on the country radio and it's not real, no harm, no foul. But what about that video that you see on social media?
Yeah.
Is it real? Is it not real? How do you tell? What about we have words coming out of the mouth of some public official? Is it real or is it made up?
Or
it's impossible to know.
Or a talk show host.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
somebody sent me a little AI thing they made of me saying something abhorrent, and it is really scary.
Yeah.
It is really scary. So,
you know, you can make anybody say anything, and the question is going to be, how do we know what is true and what is not? And that is the real concern.
All right, Brian, thank you very much, as always, for waking up early.
Get ready for some more Northern Lights tonight.
Have you taken any photos? Did you see any of the Northern Lights?
I missed it last night completely. I woke up this morning and said, oh, man, I'm sorry I missed that. But apparently there's a chance even tonight that there'll be more Northern Lights.
All right. Thank you, Brian, as always, and we'll thank our friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville for making this happen, as always. And we'll talk to you again here in a week.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right. Joan, I tell you that somebody wrote a theme song for us?
The sun is shining bright. Dan Mandis leads the way after staying up all night. Joan brings us the news in
You're in there.
Professional way.
Even Sam.
With Sam on the board, you know it's gonna go smooth all day.
I think the biggest, greatest line in this song is things are going to go smooth all day. Things never go smooth all day. But I'll take it in a song.
I think we should start the show with this every day. I like it.
Do you really like it? I like it.
Nashville's morning news starts your day so fine. With Dan, Joan, and Sam talking on the line.
I mean, it's got a little bit of WKRP to it, does it not?
It does, yes.
There you go. I mean, personally, I like this, but of course, it's got my name in it. So, of course, I'm going to like it because it's all about me.
So, yeah. So
Ricky Gore. Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Ricky. If any of us happens to leave the circle, we have to ditch the song because, yeah.
Well, Joan, as I well know, none of us is irreplaceable.
Right.
Either on the radio station or the song.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you what one of my bosses said to me?
No.
Way back when I was young and in the traffic center, by the way, in Philadelphia. I thought that, you know, my star was rising and I should get a raise. And he said, listen, Joan, you can be gone any moment now and nobody would miss you. He said you could get hit by a bus, by a SEPTA bus, and we'd have to replace you. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah.
You could get hit by a SEPTA bus.
A SEPTA bus.
Yeah.
Joan, you have sent me something regarding Epstein.
Yeah.
Headline, Epstein mentioned Trump multiple times in private emails, new release shows. And that was, I guess, just this morning. That was published by one Caitlin Collins.
Yes.
At CNN. So there's a number of things going on today regarding the Epstein files. I had this in my stack of stuff. So Thomas Massey posted this. The 218th and final signature for the Epstein discharge petition will happen tomorrow, as in today. That was last night.
Mm-hmm.
Speaker Mike Johnson is going to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, a Democrat. She won a special election that happened after her congressman father passed away. She is out of Arizona. And so I don't know if you folks are familiar with the story, but Mike Johnson has been saying that once we are in regular order, we'll go ahead and we'll swear her in when we are in regular order. They have not been in regular order. So today, I guess, is the first day back where they are in regular order, and the conspiracy-ridden Democrats have been saying that Mike Johnson was not going to swear in Adelita Grijalva until, assuming Matt Van Epps would win the 7th, and then he would be offsetting the Epstein vote of Grijalva.
She was wrong.
Yeah, they were wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's going to do it first thing today. So this is not a problem. The Democrats have been demanding that Republicans release the Epstein files. Of course, suddenly, when they've never really cared about it before, we can go through all of that again. But, I mean, everybody knows the story. Republicans have been saying that they'll release the Epstein files as soon as they can do it responsibly, protecting not only the victims, but also those that are innocent and their names may just appear. For example, Donald Trump. So the headline, and I have not seen this before you sent it to me, Joan. So what does this say about Donald Trump being mentioned?
So the context is not provided, right? So all you're getting are these little clips, again, which is such a typical thing for the left to do. But what they're saying is that the emails went to Ghislaine Maxwell and one or more to a writer named Michael Wolff. He's an author. Mm-hmm. Epstein asserts that Donald Trump spent significant time with a woman whom oversight Democrats describe as a victim of Epstein's sex trafficking. Now, listen, to say that, Trump has already said that Epstein was poaching the girls from his property, from his Mar-a-Lago estate.
Yep.
So who knows if he was spending time with her after she went to Epstein, or if he spent significant time with her because she worked on his property.
Right. This is all innuendo, obfuscations,
yes,
out of context.
So the emails also were released by the House Oversight Committee, who obtained them after subpoenaing Epstein's estate. Trump did not receive or send any of the messages.
Right.
This is all right. This is all them talking about him.
And this is Epstein. And it's fair. And here's the deal. It is quite possible that Epstein said this in emails, and apparently he did. But that doesn't mean that Epstein wasn't just talking out of his arse, because let's be honest, this is a guy who enjoyed his power. He enjoyed being Jeffrey Epstein, and he was all about it. He was all about, oh, yeah, I know Donald Trump. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that he was always upset that Trump cut him off. And so it wouldn't surprise me if Epstein said things like this in email. I'm not buying this for a moment.
And Ghislaine Maxwell has already testified that the president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
I don't believe any of those. Remember, it was months ago now, but we had all of those Epstein victims. These girls came out, mm-hmm, and they were talking about how they were going to release names or whatever it was. None of them, and as a matter of fact, if I remember right, one of them was actually asked about the president, and she said no.
Yes.
One of these victims was asked, did Donald Trump, did you ever see him? Was he involved in any of this? And she said no. So this, to me, means nothing. To me, this means nothing. And you know that the Democrats, and they're just going to fan this for all that they can. So there's a reason why this is coming out today. The reason why CNN and Caitlin Collins have put this out today is because this Congresswoman, Adelita Grijalva, is going to be sworn in today. So she will be she'll be that deciding vote on that discharge position. So now the House will have the required 218 votes to send it over to the Senate, this discharge position, send it over to the Senate, and then the Senate will do whatever it is that they're going to do with it, and maybe it'll be tabled. Maybe they'll send it off to the Department of Justice, demanding the release of all of the Epstein files. There's also 2 judges that are refusing to release the grand jury materials as well from their investigation way back when. So this is, as usual with the Democrats, a very coordinated effort. Have you seen the absolute, what do you call it when they are theatrics, political theatrics? We're going to talk about Senator Ruben Gallego and what he did. Did you see what he did? Got this Senator Ruben, I think his last name is Gallego. He is standing, and if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can see this. He is standing outside of House Speaker Mike Johnson's office, and he's got a book in his hand. And that book is the book written by one Virginia Giuffre. And he starts reading passages out of the book, and he is going to go into Mike Johnson's office. Again, very theatrical here. And he's going to drop the book off as a gift for the House Speaker.
Hey, Senator Ben Gallego, I'm standing outside Speaker Johnson's office. I'm actually here to deliver the memoir of Virginia Giuffre.
So there he goes in.
It's a gift from me to Speaker Johnson.
Yes.
Well, the Trump administration.
So there you go. So that is the first thing that I have on this. And I, by the way, you can see all this when I posted it on my X feed. You also have, do you remember a couple of days ago where we did have the Democrats and they were calling that's Hakeem Jeffries a pedophile protection ring. They were saying that about the Republicans. This is that audio that I played a few days ago.
Well, the Trump administration and Mike Johnson are running a pedophile protection program. That's what they've been doing at the direction of their boss, Donald J. Trump.
Dun, 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 dun.
I think that's grounds to sue him.
You know what? That's a great point.
How can he just spout off like that, making accusations about President Trump that are, demonstrably not true?
If I'm Donald Trump, I would say let's have our day in court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wish the Republicans would just release this stuff, and I've been saying this for a long time, release them responsibly, redacted. So if you've got, names of the victims or names of people who are more than likely innocent, maybe they just flew on the Lolita Express, but it had nothing to do with the girls and all that kind of stuff. That's the sticky wicket. I mean, you talk to somebody like, Tim Burchett, some of our congressmen, they talk about how there are people that are listed in these files and they didn't do anything wrong, or there's no proof that they did anything wrong. And so you need to make sure that all of those redactions are had. So the Democrats have been accusing Johnson, of course, of not swearing in this congresswoman because she would be the deciding vote on that discharge petition. They accused him of waiting until the 7th here in Tennessee is decided. And if Van Epps wins, then the votes would offset each other, as I mentioned. So he's going to swear her in today. So now you have Republicans who have said all along, yeah, you know what? We want the files released responsibly with the proper redactions. The Democrats think that they have a winning hand here. That's why there's all of this theatrics, this political theatrics going on. So,
do you want to hear Adelita Grijalva?
Yeah, sure.
Telling Caitlin Collins that she's going to confront him. This is so interesting.
Is she going to confront Mike Johnson upon the swearing in?
Yes, she's going to do that. Here you go.
But do you plan to use the moment to address this with Speaker Johnson?
I do. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to say. I'm going to be as respectful as possible and pretend my kids are standing right there next to me when I say, this is not something, it's undemocratic, it's unconstitutional, it's illegal.
It's not illegal.
What is she talking about?
I know. She has no clue. And she has no clue, and she's going to be in Congress. Nancy Pelosi did it every single time.
Well, and here's the deal. So just the House passes this discharge position, it'll go to the Senate. It could crash in committee. John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, has made no promises that this is going to see the light of day. The House has already released tens of thousands of pages. There are more. Many say there's tens of thousands of pages, and the DOJ has them. And so the DOJ, if they so choose, they can delay this if they want, and they can say, you know what? This is an ongoing investigation, so we're not going to release these files for whatever reason. And so the DOJ can do whatever it is that they want to do with this. This is all just, I think it's political gamesmanship on the side of the Democrats because, again, I'll say it for the thousandth time, Democrats could give two craps about the Epstein files until there was this notion that Donald Trump was somehow involved or in the files. And so this release, this article released by Caitlin Collins saying that Donald Trump's name is mentioned in the emails is nothing but innuendo and obfuscation. They don't know the truth. And so all they're trying to do is sort of tie President Trump to a horrible, horrible thing that happened. And I think that tells you that, in my opinion, Caitlin Collins she's just gunning for Trump. And the innuendo is what they're reporting.
Absolutely. And if they have that much information, if they have the excerpts from these emails, release all of the emails that show it in context. And if they can't provide the context of it, don't publish it because you don't know what it means. And all you're doing is just trying to harm someone.
That's exactly right. And listen, Trump is not beyond suing.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody.
That's right. I mean, how many times has he done it already?
Well, they're talking about, and I don't have time to get into this now, but, the BBC, which I don't know, you know the story behind that, Joan, I'm sure, where the BBC took Donald Trump's January 6th speech where he said, we're going to go down to the Capitol. Remember all that? And the BBC took Donald Trump's speech way out of context way back then. And so now they've had mass exodus of some of the higher-ups at the BBC. I did not realize, Joan, by the way, did you realize that the BBC was supposed to be the most respected or most neutral news outlet in the world? I had no idea that was the case. But you wouldn't know it by looking at the side-by-side of these two hatchet jobs on Donald Trump's.
It was another splicing issue. They spliced a later part of his speech and put it in where it didn't belong. And they said, oh, well, it was a documentary. It wasn't a news article. So it's a documentary.
BS?
Yeah.
What? And so then they had somebody on the outside look into it. And that person from the outside looked at the BBC and said, you have some serious problems within your organization as it relates to slant, one side or the other. And so I think the BBC is in big trouble. People are saying that Trump is going to sue the BBC. And who knows? Maybe Trump is going to sue CNN for coming out with this story that Donald Trump is mentioned in the emails of Jeffrey Epstein, which, by the way, I'm not even surprised that he's mentioned in the Epstein emails. They knew each other. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Epstein really, as I've said many times, and I said just a few minutes ago, Epstein loved being part of Donald Trump's orbit. So this is, what we know right now. Not much, I should say much ado about nothing. There's not much here.